Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel, and today we're doing episode 5 of Showmatch Sunday, and we're playing CBrownPT. Now I'm sure many of you know who this is. He's a very strong player, previously top 10. He also came second in a recent tournament on the main unofficial Discord channel, second to Jan, which is again, there's no shame in that. So yeah, he played really well. I got to the final, so he's a strong player to say the least. I also want to highlight he's got a YouTube channel as well, CBrownPT. Access online. He's not got many videos, but the ones he's got, the information in these is really good. Obviously, you're getting this information from one of the strongest players in the game. Obviously, far stronger than me. So the information within these allies in these videos is really good. So I would highly recommend just watching a lot of this, because there's a lot of great information. Also, it covers the semi-final between him and Ronald, which was a fantastic game. I would recommend, if nothing else, watching that, because it's great. But he's done a lot of stuff like round one meta, going through what the quote-unquote meta would be for both sides. Yeah, just a lot of good information for beginners, but also you get to see what the highest level of this game looks like in real time. So yeah, highly recommend subscribing. With that said, let's jump into the game. Okay, so round one. I gave CBrownPT the preference of sides. He didn't have any preference, so I chose to play allies. Because I think I'd done 2 Axis videos for the previous show matches, so I thought I'd mix it up. But yeah, normal 12-9. Not a normal buy for me though. I think this was early in Season 8 for me, the artillery buy. Since like mid-Season 8, I've been playing purely tanks, so this is already looks a bit weird to me. So already my play is different to this. But a good start, I would say. Having not taken Ukraine, he didn't have the bomber set to die last. So I think in that situation, 3 tanks and artillery, I think for me is worth it, leaving that 1 fighter alive and not taking Ukraine. I wouldn't have done that if the West Russia battle had gone worse, but as it is, I feel like it's strong enough to hold on its own, as well as the Caucasus. So yeah, I felt like I had a pretty decent start as Russia. I also should have left an infantry variation. I think that's a mistake. Something that I don't do nowadays. I always leave that 1 infantry there, just to make Japan's life a bit harder. But overall, I think a good round. So onto UK 1. After an extremely strong Germany 1, it was a bit scary actually looking at this. You can see obviously he went for Transjordan successfully, bought a bomber, which makes sense. But the battle in Season 7 was brutal. And he also killed my destroyer in Season 10, so he had essentially 2 subs that were guaranteed to live, plus his already an extra fighter. So he had 7 planes and 2 subs to prevent. So the UK's not dropping a fleet here. There's no way you drop a fleet in this situation, because he's got 2 subs to take the hits before any planes get hit. So yeah, that was not going to happen. So yeah, so normal attacks. I just thought I'd send in the cruisers to try and kill at least his cruiser in Season 7, so I can try and clear out some of the ships, and obviously kill the Transport 61 and clear up Transjordan. So I think the first mistake from CBrownPT here was not putting his subs on Submerge, because we actually managed to kill one, which was great for me. So we killed the cruiser there and also one of the subs, so he's only down to... He's still got a sub alive, but still it's 1 less to have to worry about in future, for the future, UK fleet drop. So actually a pretty good result for me there. But yeah, we're still a ways away from getting a UK fleet down. It's going to be a bit tricky. Okay, something I also forgot to mention actually for the UK 1, which was actually the worst thing about the entire round there, was I failed to take out the battleship in 17. I lost 2 planes, well, 2 fighters and a bomber for that. So that actually was a terrible UK. So we got an extra sub, which was a bonus, but yeah, we're losing three planes for nothing was huge, absolutely huge. So I should have mentioned that. But anyway, yeah, on to Japan. Well, US won, but Japan's move, they actually went for Pearl Harbor. Now, I know a lot of the top players don't go for Pearl, so to see CBrownPT go for it was quite reassuring, because I still like going for it. And obviously, if he's going for it, then it's still viable, because he's obviously a very top player. But yeah, so nice to see that. Not from the Allied perspective, because I like having those fighters and carriers and stuff alive, but still, yeah, it's interesting to see him play it. So obviously going for a KGF, moving everything we can towards the Atlantic. No combat moves for the US this round. I did think about going for some land trades in Anhui, but he had land units bordering, so normally if there's nothing bordering Anhui, I would go for that, but since he had 2 infantry in Manchuria, I thought I'd just leave it and just skip that. So yeah, no no combat for US round 1. On to Russia. Also didn't like my purchase here for Russia. I think I should have gone a little bit heavier on artillery possibly, although we did have spares after. Actually no, I take that back. It's because we went heavy on artillery in the first purchase. I don't think we went less heavy on artillery. So actually it worked out alright. That's fine. That's fine. In my head I'm thinking about the 2 tank buy as round 1 Russia, but that's not what we went for here. So yeah, that makes sense. So Belarusia falls. Obviously pretty standard attacks across the board. We managed to take all 3 provinces, which was nice. I decided to leave 2 infantry in... which one's that? I forget the names. I should know that by now. I really should know that by now. But anyway, 2 in Yakut, I think. I think it's Yakut. So to try and slow down the Japanese advance, obviously put everything we can into West Russia. But obviously except for the tanks, because they can move down to India should they need to. But yeah, decent start for Russia, I think. Overall, we obviously took Kwantung and taking all 3 bordering provinces in Europe, Belarus and Ukraine. Karelia was nice. So yeah, Russia's had a good start. I think the UK was rough. US was obviously average, but Russia's been the highlight so far. They've had the best dice, and 31 to spend for round 3 is pretty tasty for the Allies. That's can't really complain about that. So yeah, mixed bag I would say for round 1. So on to UK 2. I still feel like I can't justify a fleet because I've only got 1 US destroyer to help back me up in that in season 7, and he's got 7 planes bordering. So I just feel like I can't really do it just yet. So yeah, not good. Germany stacked Karelia. They've kept their fighter, their Luftwaffe, all situated in northwestern. So again, it's just preventing my fleet from being dropped. Egypt's not looking pretty. Well, the whole of Africa is not looking pretty. He's got a stack in Egypt now. Obviously, with the help of that transport that's alive from round 1, which is a bit unfortunate for me. So yeah, a German stack off in Egypt with good numbers, which is a little bit scary. So obviously we're trying to frantically reinforce now, bringing the transports and the 2 troops from Canada down to Western Africa to try and maybe think about a blockade somewhere in Sudan's probably not possible, but somewhere just trying to at least have ground troops nearby to hopefully retake should he push down a bit. So yeah, not a good situation in Africa, if I'm being honest. But the nice news I suppose is West Russia is looking fairly strong. So we've been reinforcing with fighters each round, so and there'll be more to come. but aside from that, it's not looking too great elsewhere on the board. Okay, on to US 2. I just want to quickly highlight the fact that CBrownPT, he went up to 6 transports with Japan by round 2, which is something I do now all the time in KGF, because it's just his aggression here is just great. He's got 1 transport near Borneo. He's got 1 that's threatening Hawaii and western United States already by Japan too. So he's just rapid expansion, which I think is the key. I think just 5 transports by round 2 is just not quite quick enough, or it could be quicker with just getting straight up to 6, because you can borrow units from the land from the islands around the Pacific, so you don't necessarily need to buy land to go with them. So yeah, just really nice play from Japan here. Again, no combat from the US, just reinforcing Africa a little bit and trying to set up some kind of shock somewhere, because obviously the Med's looking dicey with 7 planes and a battleship to keep me out, so the Med's probably not going to work. So it's going to likely be a northern Finland shock, to be honest. But some normal attacks with Russia here. We had a nice result in Belarusia. We actually went in with 4 ground against the 3 infantry he had there. We killed 2 and had no hitbacks, so I thought I'd just retreat. Obviously, we don't get Belarusia, but it means we've killed 2 German infantry for free, which I thought was quite nice. Also managed to kill Ukraine as well. So Russia here is actually looking really good. I mean, they've had a fantastic start. Each round 1, 2, and 3 have been no complaints at all. They've had a really good opening. Obviously pulled back from Yakut into Benki, and just bring all hands back to defend Moscow. But yeah, on the Russians front, it's looking quite nice. Okay, onto UK 3. So he's managed to maintain a really strong stack in northwestern. Obviously, he's trying to delay the fleet as long as possible, which is nice play. He's still trading off Ukraine and Belarusia, or Ukraine this time, just that one time. He's pushed his stack from Egypt into Transjordan. I think just putting pressure on my flow of troops that are moving from India towards Russia. I disagree with my purchase here, actually. I think I should have probably gone for a fleet in round 3. I think not buying a fleet here was a mistake. I think in my head, I was still vaguely thinking about going for a med ship with the US, which is not. Well, I think that's what I was going for, which was, I think, a mistake given how well the med was defended. So that was a mistake. I think I should have dropped a fleet here with the UK and just pulled everything into 8, and then maybe just gone up north and just started doing the Finland thing. But yeah, there we go. Taking Morocco, a few more planes on the board, and yeah, India, West Russia secured. Okay, on to US 3. So he landed in Alaska for Japan 3, which makes sense because he had transports nearby. Obviously, it delays my Shuk slightly because I'm going to have to react to that, obviously. Tried to take Hawaii but failed, which was a bonus for me, so we still hold that VC, which is good. We tried to trade Ukraine here just to help out the Russians slightly. Didn't get any good rolls. We'd lost both infantry in the first round, so yeah, that was a clear retreat there, unfortunately, but worth a try. So yeah, Japan expanding pretty rapidly here, obviously all throughout Asia, obviously not going for India, which is the correct play, and just going straight for Moscow. Now, again, I disagree with my play here very strongly. I don't know why I was committed to going for the Medshuk. I think in this season in particular, I've been playing more with the Medshuk, and so I think in my head I just kind of got it into my head that I should be going for it, but in reality, in this situation, I don't think it was wise because of how well it's being defended. So I think the Finland Shuk probably would have been the better play, just for simplicity, but also it's because there was less attackers up near Finland. They still had 7 planes, but they didn't have a battleship. So yeah, I guess also I was thinking I wanted to kind of kill the battleship because if I ignored the battleship and went north, then he could drop a transport down and they could obviously start threatening Africa. So I guess that was partly my idea, but still, I think Finland was the better choice. Anyway, the first sort of subpar round for Russia, round 4, failed Belarusia and also lost more infantry in the trades than I would have liked. But still, we were still successful in the trades on the Japanese front at least, which was good. And obviously pure infantry from here on out. West Russia's still okay, yeah, we're hanging in there. Attack power pretty much level. So UK 4, I actually forgot to record this round when I was actually playing it, so I went back and just went through the moves just after the fact. So yeah, Germany went back to Egypt, pulled his battleship through the Suez, which is quite interesting, back to 34. Obviously you can still threaten the Med from 34 and it makes it a bit safer, so it makes sense. I forgot also to mention last round that the Japanese are also pressuring 15, so that's why the Medshuk was not a good idea. But yeah, still maintaining his stack in Northwestern, so... but we did finally get a fleet off of the UK. I think we've resigned to the fact now the Meds are not really going to work, so drop a fleet with the UK, we'll pull the US up to help out, and yeah, we'll start the UK trades. But interesting stack placement from Germany here. Obviously he's got 13 in Italy and still got his Northwestern stack, so yeah, it's just very solid play, I think, all round from CBrown here. Okay, on to US 4. So, hitting back at Alaska, finally, it's nice. He managed to take Hawaii, obviously, with the spare transport that was up near Hawaii. Thought I'd cover this bombing raid, which is always nice. I think it was the first bombing raid I went for with this bomber. But a nice clean... When you can get a clean kill on a complex like that, you know, exactly what you need to destroy it completely, that was quite satisfying. So, yeah, good raid there. But, yeah, as I said, we've decided, obviously, the way is not going to be the Med, given how well he's been defending with the stack placement, plus also the fleet placement, and also the plane placement, I suppose. It's been a very nice defence of the Med. So we're heading up north, resigned to the fact we can't go there. Now, when you're in a situation like this, when you're dropping US troops off into UK temporarily, you know something went wrong, because it's not. You don't want to be in this situation. There are reasons to do that. If you're going to be prepping for a big attack, maybe on Karelia or Bern or something, but in this situation, obviously we know it's been because we've got forced out of the Med and we've just been delayed basically. So yeah, this has not been a very quick start for the US due to how well CBrown is defended. So yeah, I don't like. I think a similar situation arose in my game against Roche Warrior as well, where we just had to temporarily just dump some guys off into UK to use next round. It's not ideal by any means, because it means you're just slowing down. This is still the initial round of troops we want to get onto the mainland, and they're still, you know, hovering around. We want to be going back and picking up more, but having the same guys just unable to unload them properly is not good at all. But yeah, we're getting somewhere. So we've picked our destination. Finland's going to be the target. So at least we're on the way now. At least that's one thing we can say. But yeah, just very, very slow from the US so far, which is not good because the Japanese pressure is mounting. But we'll continue to try and trade with the Russians. We've got a few UK troops from India nearby to help out. Not a huge amount, but we do have some. So we try and trade most stuff here with Russia, Novo and Ukraine. I think I skipped Belarus here because I calculated West Russia wasn't safe, I believe. I think that's what happened. Took Ukraine actually really heavily, but then failed Novo, which is disappointing. So we had to kind of react to Novo because obviously they had some infantry nearby, and also tanks and planes were bordering or in range of Moscow. So we had to kind of react a little bit and bring our tanks from Caucasus back to help out, help defend Moscow here. But yeah, so not very mixed trading there, but still, Russia's still okay. We're just missing that US pressure at this point. And we're falling behind in attack power now as well. Okay, moving on to UK 5. So infantry, a few more fighters. Decided to go north because we can't, or at least can't comfortably hold both. Whereas fighters are positioned, it's just difficult to hold 8 and 3. At least now we can obviously keep building up the fleet, but for now it's not going to be too comfortable. So trading what we can. I think that's Libya, Transjordan. We're going to go for Kazakh obviously, and also try and trade Burma. I thought I'd include some of the fighter battles here because it's just another example of why I love attacking fighters. Just always reliable, never fail. So 2 failed rolls there, which is fine. That's to be expected. Killed Burma, but didn't take it unfortunately. But this is also another example of why, if you've got spare planes, you send everything, because the 1 hit out of 5 was pretty rough there, and a hit back, so we lost our infantry. That was a risky attack in itself, but I was hoping we could at least wipe the 2 infantry. You think 5 planes could probably get that done, but no. So not good rolls, not a good showing for the RAF there. Not too pleased with them, but there we go. That's what attacking fighters are. It happens. So yeah, I think overall so far, I think the dice I don't think have been favourable to me. However, I think it's been a case more of at least the situation board now. It's been CBrown defending well, basically. So we are falling behind, as you can see. Our attack power is about 20 points difference now. So we're slipping, slowly slipping. Okay, on to US 5. So Japan has actually stacked Kazakh, which was, I think, possibly preventable should I have gone to Persia with the UK stack in India. I think that was probably my mistake. It's something I've got a habit of doing, as the UK is going too late to Persia. So tried another bombing run on Karelia after the first one went so well, and I guess, yeah, there we go. It wasn't meant to be. 2 times in a row is a bit too much to ask, so yeah, unfortunate there, but there we go. It happened. So moving the rest of the African troops bordering into a place where they're bordering Egypt. So hopefully we can finish off the last of the German troops in Egypt. And finally we get our big drop in Europe, finally down into Norway. So we've got a good load of infantry there now. In round 5, very late, obviously, very late, but they are they're there at least now. So we can start the Finland shock. Obviously, the Japanese are going for the remaining islands in the Pacific too, down to Australia kind of way, and wrapping up the last bit of IPC. So Russia, because of obviously me not moving my UK troops into Persia, they're under a little bit more stress now. They've got to trade, obviously where they can, but obviously all the time we've got to be thinking about defending Moscow, because they've got a very sizable Japanese force on the doorstep, so it's going to be tricky to hold both West Russia and Moscow at this point. So on to UK 6, bought a bomber this round. Also decided to pull out of India this round. A round too late, but I guess we are moving now. But with that, the timing's the key thing. The timing is a crucial thing in this game, I think. Yeah, a round too late and your position is significantly worse, which, So we've moved into Persia now, but as I said, too late. And we're beginning the retreat from West Russia because we can't realistically hold both. Moved into Egypt, so we are gaining some ground back in Africa, which is nice. The UK economy is looking slightly healthier, but that could very quickly start to crumble once the Japanese finish off Australia and come for Africa. But okay, on to US 6. So the Japanese obviously reinforced their stuff in Kazakh, which is looking fairly scary at this point. Landed in Australia. No attack moves from the US this round. There's not really much we can do. Just moving forward, obviously in Africa as well, to try and kick these German troops out of Transjordan. Our Shuk is still a bit of a mess. We're still trying to just get things organised and get the numbers of transports we need to have, because we're still not up to max production, which is again slow. So it's not been great. But full retreat from the US into Moscow. Obviously at this point we can't hold West Russia while also defending Moscow. So it is a full retreat situation from the Allies in West Russia. Now, because I know in this situation I'm very much behind in this game, I felt like I had to try and make something happen here and take a risk. So the risk I went for was the 1-2 punch in Kazakh. The first punch being by the Russians. I'm not going to calculate the odds, but I forget what it was, but I think it was favourable. I think it was. So we're going to go for the Russians first, try and kill as many infantry as we could. Obviously, we can't win the fight because there's just too much there, but obviously we've got a lot of UK planes in Moscow to help the secondary punch from the UK troops in Persia and try and kill the Kazakh stack completely off. That was the game plan anyway, because obviously I'm behind, so I need to make something happen, because otherwise it's going to be a slow grind to death. So I might as well take a risk here and try and get some. Try and get a favourable battle. But yeah, terrible round 2 rolls for me there from my lads. Only got 1 hit out of however it was 8 units, so pretty brutal. Strong hits back. So yeah, it was a pretty devastating attack for the Russians. They lost everything apart from the 2 fighters, which I guess was a mercy. That was the one bonus we had in that fight, but overall was pretty devastating. So I'm not going to calculate the odds, but I don't think we had odds following that attack to actually finish off the Kazakh stack with the UK. So yeah, pretty much disaster, but it was the risk we had to take, I think. But CBrown agreed that was probably it was the right move to go for, but just unfortunate dice there. Right, UK 7, we decided that we might as well go for the attack on Kazakh still, despite the fact we didn't get the rolls we wanted with the Russians. I think we were going into the Kazakh fight with about 20%, so again, it wasn't good. It's the move of a desperate commander in a game, in a war he's about to lose. So I think it was still probably the right choice, because it's either a slower death or going out in a big attack somewhere. So we gave it a go. Didn't get the greatest rolls either, actually, to be fair, on the attack. The ones hit reasonably well, actually, but the threes not so much, and heavy rolls back from the Japanese, as you'd expect with 5 fighters and some tanks. But yeah, so that was the killer move. I think this 1-2 punch was the killer. Although the game was already going that way, I think it was just a quicker way to a loss. But yeah, I think it's what put the nail in the coffin for this game. I think it was at this point there was no real way back into after we lost so many infantry going for that stack that I think it was pretty much an impossibility, particularly against someone like CBrown, who's not going to make any kind of major mistakes at all. There might be the odd minor one here and there, but it's not going to be significant. So yeah, so we'll probably just skip ahead rather. For the remainder of the game, we'll just cover the UK turns until the end of the match, because that's sort of a nice point to summarise from. Yeah, carried on trading here and there. Round 8, trading off France and Northwestern. We've still got a nice air force as the UK, which is one bonus, so we can sort of trade things quite well here and there. But obviously, yeah, we're severely lacking in numbers in Moscow. The only thing that is keeping Moscow alive right now is the fighter numbers. That's the only thing that keeping them together. So yeah, the 1-2 punch from the Germans and Japanese is looming, so I've got to always be conscious of that happening. Yeah, big attack partly for the Axis here. UK 9, similar kind of deal, just trading bits and bobs. We're going for some bombing runs. I haven't noticed it yet, but there is obviously a danger at this point of losing the game through. Well, actually, I have noticed it. It's the VC sniper is very much on here for the Axis. He's got a lot of ground troops in Berlin to potentially do a stack of France. So we're trading here with the UK to stay in the game, basically, because he is prepping for this VC snipe at some point. And you can see from UK 10 here, he's gone for it. And yeah, it's too much to overcome for the Allies. We can't take any of the VCs available. So yeah, round 10 will be the last round. I was going to resign, but I said to him, if you want to just have a crack at Moscow, I'm more than happy with that. So I wanted to give him a last big battle in Moscow, and we can end the video there. And so we come to the final assault on Moscow. Obviously, the game's already lost at this point. Even if we were to win this fight, there's still 9 VCs in control of the Axis control 9 VCs. So you can't not have a big scrap from Moscow to finish on. I think after the build up in the game, it made sense to go out with the battle. So yeah. How did he do? 4 for the 1s, 7 for the 2s. Yeah, not the best rolls from there. We got decent rolls back as well. But I think purely on a numbers basis, he had the advantage. But yeah, I just wanted to try and take out as many as I could as we finally lost. Round 2, starting to dent the planes. How do we do on the return fire? Exactly what he needed to kill the rest of the planes there. 6 hits back, 6 out of 7 hits back was pretty nice, and the final roll for the Allied planes, not too bad. Huge losses, as you'd expect. But yeah, that's the 10th VC for the Axis, so yeah, comfortable take there. I think he had a follow up with the Germans anyway. So my final round 10 US, decided to go for a final 1-man assault on Karelia against was it like 30 something defenders. I was disappointed he couldn't get a hit there at least. His last attack couldn't get a 1, but no, shame. Anyway, yeah, that's the game. So again, well played to CBrownPT. He played a great game. I think throughout the course of the game, I think I had the worst dice out of the two of us. However, that wasn't the deciding factor in the game. I think it just put me behind a bit, but I think his play overall was definitely stronger. I think some of his defensive positioning in Europe, particularly kind of covering the Med, was really, really high level stuff. I think it was great. His stack positioning, the fleet positioning, and the planes, it made it very hard for me to get to the Med, which is obviously where I was going for, and him defending as well as he did meant I was extremely delayed as the US, because we did very little damage to Germany in the opening rounds, very little, which is always dangerous because you want to be on top of Germany as quick as our main first landing with the Shuk was round 5, which is so late, like to actually get some proper US troops on the ground in Europe was just super late. So he had that time, those 5 rounds, to obviously keep building infantry with Germany and obviously get Japan into a better position. But no, it was just extremely solid play. That's all it was. Just a very solid play. I think even with the dice more favourable, it would have been the same result, because just his play was just a better standard than mine, just pure and simple. So I think it's a good example of what to do in a situation where you're facing a Medshuk from the Allies. His positioning of he maintained that northwestern stack with infantry and frigates for a long time. And obviously it made my logistics and my movement in the Atlantic a lot trickier to navigate. It was very good. But no, I enjoyed the game overall. It was really good. Again, playing against these kind of players, the top 10 players like CBrown and Jan and everything, it's very for me. It's a great learning experience. As I've said before, it's just nice watching the top level play and just seeing how they solve problems on the board and defend against various attacks. It's just very interesting to watch. So yeah, again, I think with better dice and obviously from my side of things, a better play. I wish this game could have gone a bit longer. I think wasn't the best showing, but yeah, I think if I did what I could. So yeah, hopefully if I rematch him at some point, maybe we might be able to give him a better fight, but we'll see. Anyway, yeah, so well played to CBrownPT. Played a great game. Thanks for taking part. And thanks for everyone watching. And I'll hopefully see you back for episode 6, I believe, next Sunday. Take care.